Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. First off, thank you to Second Wind for sponsoring this immersion and this yoga mat. I decided that I was going to wear my matching tank top today. I was practicing it. I looked in my closet. I was like, I actually have a similar color scheme tank top. So if you can appreciate that, you probably don't, but if you do. So last thing I wanted to just, before we begin, there is now the option to sign up for the October immersion. If you're watching this live, I sent it in the email. Also, I created the option to sign up for auto pay, which has been requested by many of you so that you wouldn't have to, get out your credit card every time and do the whole thing. And then maybe you wouldn't, make the discounted price in time and whatever. So now you automatically get the discounted price of $88 per month. This way, you don't have to rush to get signed up. It'll just automatically pay for you. That said, you could either sign up for auto pay now, or you could also sign up for just the October immersion. Either way, I'm looking forward. It's going to be called The Breakthrough, which I'm excited. I think we're going to probably continue working out of the Tantra Illuminated book for the next month. So now we're on the power of action, which is called Kriya Shakti. And we've been working with Icha, Yana, Kriya, Icha, divine will, Yana, knowledge, and then Kriya, action. And this is how consciousness descends itself into form, into a human being. And it's also how we as human beings create. So one thing he mentions in here that I thought was super important. Well, let me see if I could just find it. Sorry. All of these powers would add up to nothing without Kriya Shakti, the power of divine action. Nothing would actually come into being in any concrete way without Kriya Shakti. For the structure is spoken of in Jnana Shakti when we talked about the knowledge that we need in order to create the structure. So we applied this to, let's say, the dancer. There's a innate desire for the dancer to express themselves. That expression is all well and good, but they need the knowledge of how to move their body within the context of dance. So the will to express, that is Icha. The knowledge for how to exist within the dance context, or if you're a musician, within the context of playing your instrument, the knowledge is Jnana. Now, actually taking action is the Kriya. So nothing would actually come into being in any concrete way without Kriya Shakti. For the structures spoken of in the context of Jnana Shakti above are purely subtle, the intangible patterns in which energy naturally flows. Thus, Kriya Shakti, though the lowest of the powers, is celebrated as the final culmination of the movement of consciousness into the diverse forms of its self-expression. Though from the absolute perspective, all activity is a form of Kriya Shakti, from our limited perspective, there is an important distinction to be made between Kriya and Karma. So this is, I guess, I don't have a real strong personal way of explaining this, of examples in my own practice. So I'm going to read directly out of this in case it really applies to you, because we have worked with karma before in, I believe we talked about karma in June immersion. It was either May or June, I think. So those of you that have been with me since then, I'll just kind of bring this in just to confuse you a little bit. No, this is good. Though from the absolute perspective, all activity is a form of Kriya Shakti, from our limited perspective, there is an important distinction to be made between Kriya and Karma. Both words mean action, but karmic actions, defined as volitional action motivated by an expected result, bind the individual soul and restrict her freedom, whereas actions that partake in Kriya Shakti are, like all Shaktis, absolutely free and thus are not a part of the usual karmic cycle. In other words, karma is conditional and conditional action, while Kriya is spontaneous arising action that is expressed from our natural being. There's a bug on my book. What are examples of such actions? Any action done for its own sake, or pure selfless with no agenda as a spontaneous expression of our being, is a manifestation of Kriya Shakti and thus does not bind you further into a karmic cycle. One of my teachers says that if anyone wants to do something for him, he cautions them, please do not do this for me if you cannot do it with all of the delight of a child feeding a dog, because I don't want to have to pay for it later. That is his way of saying that he wants his relationships with others to be expressions of Kriya Shakti, not karmic bondage. The spiritual practices, unless they are done in a spirit of grasping after results, are all expressions of Kriya Shakti. That is why spiritual practice is more successful when you enjoy it for its own sake, expressing it for celebration of the divine nature, rather. Celebration of the divine. That's a typo. Anyway, it's a celebration of the divine nature rather than what a means to an end. So what he's saying is the spiritual practices, when you practice them for the sake of bathing in the delight of being a human being, of just being able to be here in this body, when that's the expression, when you're taking that course of action, then there is no karmic bind to it, meaning there is no payment that has to be made in some way or another in your future existence. We're not going to get into karma here too much, but it's cycles of life within your own life. It's not just like cycles of your next lifetimes, but within your own life, we go through these cycles. And if we take actions that are, well, all actions that we take are either taking something or giving something. And now if you just take action out of the pure delight of self-expression in this physical form of being a human being that is a part of nature, that has consciousness pulsing through us, the urge just to express ourselves, that has no karmic bondage, is what he's saying. So may we practice our spiritual practices as an expression of Kriya Shakti, not with the expectation of getting something in return. And that's so important. So can we practice not for, grasping onto something in particular? Everyone practices, really. We come to the practice because we're grasping onto something. But once we step in, is it possible that we can do it just for the sake of being able to practice? Is it possible let's bring it down into something more tangible. Is it possible for us to step onto our yoga mat and get into our body for the sake of expressing ourselves in our physical form, rather than achieving, for the sake of achieving a posture? So karmic cycle would be, if we did it for the pose, we'd be bound to some karmic cycle, meaning then what's going to happen is we get caught up in the ego about what that shape means to us. And then that then plays out in other ways futuristically. Whereas if you just step onto your mat to express your physical body and a pose may or may not come out, there's no further karmic cycle that we get put into. But Kriya is the action. So it's expressing ourselves because we can, because that is the privilege of being human, expressing ourselves in this physical form because we have consciousness pulsing within us. And it's a natural energy of consciousness to express itself, to take action. And that's why creativity is so widely or so valued in tantric lineage, because it's one of the powers of the divine to create from action, to take action, to create something. Now, we all have this will deep inside of us in order to create. That's Icha. And then we have the ability to become knowledgeable about how to create. That's Jnana, that's the knowledge, right? So you learn how to do things. You learn how to activate your muscles on your yoga mat. You learn how to activate your muscles within this physical body, within the context of the asana practice. That's all the how. Now, the results if we just allow that to flow naturally, is that we express ourselves. Now, some people are taking action without those first two, without the basis of knowledge or without the deep desire to do so. And so therefore their actions fall short. The action becomes draining. It becomes really, what's the word I'm looking for? Depleting of our energy. So you won't feel fulfilled by the end of the day. So you can practice, or you can take action from that place of just pure action, and it won't have the power of consciousness behind it. And therefore you will feel that you are doing it all. And that's going to put you in that karmic cycle, and you'll feel that that you deserve something in return. And you do, but the thing that you deserve most in return has already been given to you. This life, the ability to take action, has already been provided for us. And so we're actually balancing out that gift that we've gotten in this physical form by expressing ourselves within it. Okay, so it has already been provided for us. The gift, the return is already here in this form of this human body, of this experience that we get in this life. And so may we take full advantage of what we've been given and make use of it. This beautiful physical form, this mind that has the ability to experience and take in, to think about, to feel, right? So there's so much magnificence in just being a human, and all we're trying to do in the spiritual practice at the simplest level is to enjoy that. You know, that's what it comes down to. So may we express ourselves on our physical yoga mat with the will to, of course, the drive that moves us forward, the knowledge, that's the techniques that we do, but actually taking action. It'd be one thing if I was like, here's the bicep muscle and it does this. That's the knowledge. But if I didn't show you how to actually activate that muscle, it does nothing, right? It doesn't complete the cycle of consciousness that allows us to express ourselves and actually take action. So taking action goes beyond just the will, the desire to do so, the knowledge, jnana, shakti. It actually takes those two and brings it into life, manifestation into this physical form. It's creation at its best. Okay, so may we create beauty on our yoga mat. May we create beauty in our physical form, and let this asana practice be a gratitude practice for this physical experience that we get to have together. All right, let's get into it. I don't have my watch, which is a problem. Please come to child's pose, knees wide, arms out in front. Today we're going to be also meditating. So as we move towards meditation, I have a practice for us which will awaken our hips and shoulders. Of course, this month's focus is on shoulders, so I have a little bit of shoulders and everything. And then we'll move into our seated practice in order to go deeper than just the physical form. So we don't just appreciate the physical body, but we appreciate the mind as well, and the energy that pulses through this body, which we call prana. All right, let's take a full breath into the sides of the waistline and out. I'd like you to press your knees down into the ground and lift your hips maybe like 3 centimeters, like 1 inch or so off the ground. Off of your heels. So your hips lift up, and what you'll feel is probably your quads engage a little bit, but if you press into your knees in particular, you might start to feel your buttocks active. Now scoop your tailbone slightly and see if you can get your glute muscles, your deep buttock muscles to tone up. Okay, and then release. Let's do that again. You're going to press your knees down, hips lift up off of your heels. Scoop your tailbone. Lift your head up off the ground as if you're going to come to all fours. Lift a little bit higher and pause. Suspend your hips up
and see if you can feel your glute muscles fire up. Little tuck of the tailbone, and then release. One more time. Okay, so press your knees down, lift your hips up. Let's say now about 3 to 4 inches. I'm not sure how many centimeters that is for my European friends. Scoop the tailbone. Okay, find your buttock muscles. Head is off the ground now. Armpits are up. And then release. Come forward to all fours, hands and knees. Arch and look up. Exhale back, child's pose. Untuck your toes, point your feet. Inhale forward, all fours, tuck toes, move the ankles, arch the back. Exhale, round, child's pose. Inhale forward, tuck toes, arch. And exhale back, child's pose. One more time. Inhale forward, tuck toes, arch. Exhale, point feet, move back. Inhale forward, tuck toes, arch. This time exhale back, downward facing dog. Let's take a full breath in your down dog. And a full breath out. Inhale forward to plank pose. Lift the heels up. Scoop the tailbone around the back. Shift forward. Knees come down. Child's pose. Hips to heels. Let's continue moving. All fours, hands and knees. Arch the back. Tuck the toes. Keep the back arched. Lift up, down dog. Inhale, forward plank pose. Scoop your tailbone as you come forward. Exhale, knees down, child's pose, hips to heels. Inhale, forward, all fours, arch, look up. Tuck toes, exhale, down dog. Right leg to the sky on the inhale. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Enjoy a full breath in and out. Straighten the leg on the inhale. Step forward as you exhale and come up onto your fingertips. Okay, on your fingertips, I'd like you to just take a moment for the breath and tap in to the energy that pulses through you. Pull your feet toward one another. Let the hips lift. Now from your right buttocks, scoop your tailbone a little bit, and you'll feel, hopefully what you'll feel is your fingers get lighter and your chest actually lifts up off of your thighs a bit. So you round your back. Lengthen through the top of the head. Fingers get even lighter. Maybe they can barely touch. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. Forward plank, inhale. Exhale, back, child's pose. Inhale, forward, all fours, tuck your toes, arch. Exhale, down dog. Left side to the sky, inhale. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Let's enjoy a breath in and out. Straighten legs, square the hip on the next breath in. Step forward, exhale. Okay, come up onto your fingertips, enjoy a breath. Remind ourselves that it is a privilege and a delight to be in this physical body. And we practice yoga to reconnect to that realization that we get the opportunity to express ourselves in this physical form is the intention and reason we practice. And this is Kriya Shakti, just the expression of our physical form, the ability to actually take action. We do it for that purpose and that purpose only. Pull your 2 feet toward each other because we can. And that's magnificent that we have that opportunity to activate our muscles. Now, scoop your left sit bone underneath until your fingers get light and your upper back becomes more round. Fingers just barely touch at this point. Lengthen through the top of the head. Make sure your buttock muscles are fired up as you take one more inhalation. And exhale, down dog. Forward to plank, inhale. Exhale, knees down, child's pose. Inhale, all fours arch, tuck toes. Exhale, down dog. Let's walk the feet to the front of the yoga mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and bow. Let's do that again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and bow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. All right, take your hands behind your back. You can bend your knees. Interlace your fingers. And let your shoulders soften towards your ears. Then draw your shoulder blades toward one another. Keeping your shoulder blades toward each other, then try to stretch the arms. Okay, so now press your thumb side of your hands toward each other. That's going to be more internal rotation of the arm bone. And then press your pinky side of your hands toward each other. That's going to be more external rotation. You'll feel your biceps roll out, your shoulder blades roll toward each other. And then press the thumb side, and you feel your shoulder blades kind of roll away from each other. And then pinky side. Then thumb side. If you're not able to do either just because you're trying to survive the stretch, then that's okay. This will be from some other time. All right, and then hands to the hips, rise all the way up. Tadasana. Place the hands together in front of the heart. And for today, we recognize that Kriya is the power of action that we have within us. It is the privilege of action that we have the ability to take this energy inside of us that we call Icha, the power of will, this deep desire to express ourselves. Then we get to take that desire and use our ability to gain knowledge about the constructs and structures of taking action. So we get to learn how to operate within any sort of given experience, whether it's the physical body, whether it's playing an instrument, whether it's playing a game, using a paintbrush, learning how to dance, whatever the constructs of the environment are, we get to learn how to operate within it. That's jnana, knowledge. And then actually taking action, kriya. There's a big difference between learning how and actually taking action. So it's one thing to have the will to take action, the knowledge of how to do so. It's another thing to take action upon it. So we are trying to work with all three. Inhale, reach the arms to the sun, Urdhva Hastasana. To the earth, bow, Uttanasana, forward fold. Half lift, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step left foot back as you exhale. Place the hands on the front knee and pause. See if you can gather strength in your legs so you get more stable in your foundation. So pull your feet toward each other, in other words. With that, scoop your tailbone a little bit and see as you scoop your tailbone,
Your left hip will tend to open up. Try to close the left hip to face straight forward while tucking the buttocks underneath at the same time. If you can do that, if you can keep your hips facing straight forward and tuck your tailbone, you're gonna feel your right buttock muscles really firm up right at the center. That's what we're going for today, okay? Now let's get the arms warmed up. Turn the palms face forward. You're gonna keep rotating the palms, not just face forward, but outward away from each other. This is external rotation. And squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other. Hold there, pitch your body forward. So palms are trying to externally rotate as you squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other. Can you still tuck your buttocks underneath, finding your gluteus muscles, the deep buttock muscles? And release hands to the ground.
Step to plank, inhale.
Lean forward and lower, chaturanga. Little cobras, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, release. 2 more, inhale, lift the heart. Just warming the back muscles up. Exhale, release. Last one, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, all fours to down dog.
Left leg to the sky on the inhale. Step the left foot between your hands. Pivot the back heel down. Walk the hands to the inside of your left foot. Pause here. Okay, sway your buttocks so that your tailbone faces the side of the mat rather than the back of the mat. Okay, so tailbone to the side. Now we'll just prepare the legs. Pull your feet toward each other. Take a breath in. Now, as you pull your feet toward each other, press from your left buttocks down into your left heel. Hopefully you feel those buttock muscles activate on the left side now. Keep the heart lifted, 2 more breaths. One more. Cool. Walk the hands back to the center. Pivot the back heel up. Let's step forward today. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and bow. To the sun, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Hands to the heart, Samastitihi. Inhale, reach up. To the earth, bow, Uttanasana. Halfway lift on the inhale. And step your right foot back, exhale. Left foot's forward again. Push down into your heel. Rise up. Hands on the front thigh, pause. Breathe. And then just check in with your left hip. It's probably moving out to the left. Move it straight. So tailbone goes straight back behind you, and then scoop your buttocks underneath. Notice if your right hip, the opposite hip starts to open because you tucked your tail. Can you turn your right hip so it faces straight forward, and then scoop your buttocks and press down through your left heel at the same time? So tuck and press, and you should get this bulbous part of your glute muscles. There's deep rotators of the hip that should activate at that point, as well as the gluteus maximus that all should fire up at the same time. Okay, now keeping that, press your inner back leg to the sky, by the way. Now let's try to get the shoulders to start to warm up. So externally rotate them and pull your shoulder blades toward each other. Pivot your torso forward without collapsing your belly. So don't collapse your belly and hips. Scoop your tailbone. Use your buttocks as you lean forward. The more you lean forward, the harder it is on the glute muscles and the deep rotators of your hips. So as you lean forward, you're basically increasing the weight there. So keep your tailbone straight back and the buttocks tucked in order to strengthen those muscles. Why? Because we can. One more breath. And release, hands to the ground. Step to plank pose, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Again, little cobras, lift the heart. Exhale, release. 2 more, inhale, lift the heart. Lift, if you can, squeeze your shoulder blades, lift the hands.
Exhale, release. Again, inhale, lift the heart. Last time, see if you can bring your shoulder blades together, lift the hands. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes, inhale to all fours. Tuck the toes, if not already, down dog. Right leg to the sky. Step forward between your hands. Pivot the back heel down, fingertips come to the inside of the leg. We take a breath, an appreciation for the dance of energy inside of this physical form, with gratitude for the ability to take action on our yoga mat, out of appreciation for our physical body, our muscles, our bones. Now press your front heel down into the ground. Activate your glute muscles. The inevitable results of the desire to express ourselves in our physical form and the knowledge of techniques and how to activate the body that we learn while doing the asana practice, the inevitable result is that we take action and poses will form. Isn't that the beauty, is that we'll be able to do more with our physical body. That's just a given. If we are getting into our body, learning how to use it, we'll be able to do more. But if we do it for the sake of being able to do more, usually that diminishes our actual ability to do so because we're focused on the end result rather than what is happening right now. So we want to focus on what's happening right now. That gives us the fullest power. And that is really what Kriya Shakti is all about, is action for the sake of action, not for the sake of the end result later. The result that we're doing action for is that we simply get to express ourselves in this physical form. The fact that we get to take action. Okay, walk the hands to the front, step forward, halfway lift. Exhale and bow forward. This time you're going to soften your knees, interlace the fingers, other pinky on the outside. Okay, shoulders fall to the ears at first. Then squeeze your shoulder blades and elbows toward one another. Stretch the arms behind you. Again, it's useful to explore the difference between the rotation of the arm bones here. So if you press your thumbs toward each other, it's likely that your shoulder blades will kind of roll apart from one another. It's neither here nor there. Just I'd like you to observe it. Now, if you press your pinky side of your hands toward each other, you'll feel your shoulder blades come toward one another. More likely, that is. Thumb side, if you really press into your thumb side of your hand, you're going to internally rotate your arms more, which will roll the shoulders forward more. If you press into the pinky side of your hands, your shoulders the outer elbows will roll toward each other. And the triceps back there will start to roll toward each other, and shoulder blades come toward each other. Okay, and then release hands to hips, arch the back, and rise all the way up to stand. All right. Bend your knees, coming into chair pose. With your knees bent, sit low. I'm going to try to get the buttock muscles that we talked about. So start by anterior tilt to the pelvis. So lift your buttocks, lift your tailbone up and your low back in a back bend. Your heart stays lifted though, so don't fall forward when you do that. Keep the heart lifted. Now, to increase the ability to do anterior tilt, you'll press your heels out, okay? And then you'll feel your outer buttock muscles activate, called the gluteus medius and minimus. Keeping that, you can sit a little bit lower. Keeping pressing the heels out, you feel those outer hip muscles active. I'd like you to lift your heart a little more to activate your erector spinae. Those are your back muscles. You're gonna keep your back muscles toned. Now, without making this easy on yourself, so still push your heels out, but micro tuck your tailbone very slowly, just until you feel your buttocks, your deep external rotators inside of your buttocks activate, your glute muscles activate, okay? But not so much that you just fall out of the position, because that's not what we're trying to go for. We're trying to strengthen the muscles that anterior tilt the pelvis. So push the heels out and lift your heart up. And that anterior tilt's when you have the tipped forward of the pelvis. But against that, we want to strengthen the external rotators, the muscles that tuck the tailbone. So start to slowly tuck your tail just enough, very subtle, so you feel the buttock muscles activate, but you still feel an arch in your low back. Okay, you can always feel it with your hand. And you also are going to feel probably your outer hips are still toned if you're pushing your heels out. Okay, there's a muscle called TFL, the outer hip muscle, that also helps you to tip your pelvis forward. That's going to be somewhere out of the front outer hip. It's a hip flexor. And it is also an abductor. It helps you to push your legs apart. Okay, at this point, hopefully your back muscles are tired and your buttocks is tired. And now bow forward. You're going to feel you probably have a little bit more range of motion. Halfway lift on the inhale. We'll step the left foot back, exhale. Push down into your right heel, scoop your buttocks and rise, high lunge. Open up, please, warrior two. Okay, groins back a little bit. Now pull your feet toward each other. As you breathe, come all the way up through the top of the pose. Arms out to the sides. Let's get warmed up in the shoulders. We'll do some breathing and movement of the shoulders. So on the inhale, internally rotate and let your shoulder heads roll over. As you exhale, externally rotate, move your shoulder heads back. Let's continue. Inhale, internally rotate the upper arms. Exhale, externally rotate. Really try to go for the distance here. Pinkies up, pinkies up. Inhale, internally rotate. Exhale, externally rotate. Two more, why not? Inhale. Exhale. One more round. Hold the external rotation. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle preparation. Forearm on the thigh, hand on the hip. Okay, for today, groins back. Pull your feet toward each other and get your foundation set. As you breathe, soften the jaw, soften the throat. Press your front heel down and see if you can lift your front hip bone. This is the hip bone, ASIS right here. It's like right near the thigh. See if you can lift it up away from the thigh. Okay, so you press your front heel, the outer heel down, and try to lift this hip bone up. And what you should feel is your back buttocks, your front buttocks activates a little bit more. Okay, keeping that, press your belly forward a little and turn your chest to the sky. Slide the right hand down to the inside of your foot. Left shoulder, move it way back behind you. Two more breaths. Bottom hand is just lightly touching the ground. One more breath. Cool. Both hands to the ground. You're going to pivot the back heel up, straighten through the front leg. It'll be a delight. Exhale and bow over. When we do the practice for the sake of getting to know our physical body, for the sake of celebrating self-expression, for bringing that intangible, subtle energy to life, to creation. This is called Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti is just simple action for the sake of expressing the consciousness, the energy within us. Not for anything else, not for any other sort of gain, but other than the privilege to express ourselves in the physical form, to the privilege to bring energy to life in the physical world. Okay, look forward, bend the knee. Step back, down dog. Take a moment in down dog and observe the right and left hip after that experience. Come forward to plank pose on the inhale. Chaturanga. Slide the hands wide, feet a little bit wider, round the back. Soften your heart. Let your belly stretch. Pull the heart forward. And release. All fours, hands and knees.
Tuck your toes, exhale, and downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Notice the right and left hip. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. On this inhale, lift the heels up, look forward, and you can exhale, hop, walk, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and bow. Bend the knees, Utkatasana. Chair pose, that is. Okay, now take your right hand to the center between your 2 feet. And take your left hand to your sacrum. Pull your left shoulder back, open up the chest. Now push your heels apart from one another. As you push your heels apart, see if you can now micro tuck your tailbone. It might get your right hand might lift up a little bit off the ground, and that's okay. Just micro tuck your tailbone, but lengthen the chest. Take a full breath in and out. Lay back just a little bit more. One more full breath in. Now as you exhale, bow. Straighten the legs and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, prepare, halfway lift. Right foot steps back as you exhale. Push down, rise, find your buttock muscles. Open up, warrior 2. Let's continue with our shoulder movements. Inhale, internally rotate. Exhale, shoulders back, externally rotate. Inhale, internally rotate. Exhale, externally rotate. Your front heel digs down into the ground. Inhale, internally rotate. Exhale, externally rotate. Your spine moves a little bit as you're doing these movements. Inhale, internally rotate. Exhale, externally rotate. Let's do one more. Okay, reverse warrior. Side angle preparation. Move your hips back, slightly sway your hips back. Now pull your feet toward each other, connect to your foundation and take a breath. Now, is it possible to find your left buttocks? Press through your heel and scoop a little bit in the tailbone. Just enough so you feel this buttock activates the front ones. Okay, now press your belly and heart forward like a back bend and pull with your left hand on your hip, pull your left shoulder back. I'd like you to try this. Keep the left shoulder back, but slide the left fingers just barely to touch. Stay with your breath and recognize that the intense strengthening that you're doing is a privilege to be in this physical body. We have this will to express ourselves deep inside, this will of consciousness to take form, to come through. And that leads us to the knowledge, the know-how, the techniques of pressing the heel down, rolling the shoulder back, right? But then actually doing them is a whole nother thing. It's fine to just know how to do them, but doing them, yeah, it takes effort a little bit, doesn't it? But that's the gift that we have. Okay, release the hands to the ground. Pivot the back heel up. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Exhale and bow. Oftentimes, I think we start complaining of the effort that it takes to bring energy to life, right? To create, whether it's in our family life, or if it's our career, or if it's a passion project. Yes, at first, that drive, that will, is what kind of pushes action forward. But then there's always that point somewhere from anywhere kind of in the middle ish, right? Or towards the end for some people, where it's hard to continue to take action because there's challenges that stand in the way. And when we recognize and we tune back into the power of will and knowledge, and we recognize that taking action, Kriya, is actually a privilege, that the effort that we place on our yoga mat and in our life is actually a privilege, a gift that we have to express ourselves, then we can take action and push through those hard, challenging points that are required in order for that final manifestation of whatever it is that we're creating. Bend the front knee, step forward, halfway lift. Be it a yoga shape. Exhale, bow. Be it a healthy physical body. Be it an artistic piece or an expression of the physical form like dance. Bend the knees, take the hands to the thighs. Stick your bum up to the sky, arch the back. Keep the arch first and take your left hand to the inside of the foot. Okay, so arching the back and anterior tilt like we do in our chair pose helps us to gain range of motion and flexibility. That's what gets us deep into this pose, getting the left hand on the ground. But then once we're there, we want to start to access our stability. So push your heels out. That's still mobility for a second. But then against that, start to tuck your tailbone. That's the stability. Both are required to maintain this shape in order to maintain optimal strength within it, meaning the whole body participates, not just the outer hips, but the scooping the tailbone comes in. You got all the muscles around the hips starting to activate. Turn the chest and take your right hand to your sacrum or your back and pull your right shoulder back. Lay back a little bit. It's one thing to know how to get stronger, more flexible. I can give you the knowledge and we can take it in, right? It's another thing to actually do the actions. When the going gets tough, we'll remember that it is a gift to even have this opportunity to bring health into this physical form. And you know what? If it was easy, then we wouldn't need to do it. I mean, it's already a strength of ours. Okay, release the hands to the ground, both of them. Inhale, halfway lift. Observe the sensation of your hips. Exhale and bow. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bow. To the sunrise, Urdhva Hastasana. Hands to the heart, Samasthitihi. All right, step your left foot back. Let's face each other on the side of the mat. With the hands to the hips, pause, take a breath. Kriya Shakti is the taking action because we can. Taking advantage of the gift that we have as human beings, manifested forms of consciousness, and to manifest our own life. Pull your feet toward each other, tip the pelvis into anterior tilt for range of motion. So stick your bum to the sky and take your fingertips to the ground. Push outward with your heels at first. That will increase the range of motion and allow you to bow further. And now let's stabilize. Once we're down here, lean forward a little into your toes. And then micro tuck your tail. You could even squeeze your big toe mounds toward each other, and that will activate your inner thighs as you scoop your tailbone. Now, if you're hanging out up here and don't have much range of motion, focus on pushing the heels out and sticking your bum up, and that'll give you the range of motion. Now, if you're way down here and you got a lot of range of motion, focus on scooping the tailbone and activating your buttocks and hamstrings for stability. Okay, we seek balance wherever we are. We seek the ability to freely move in our body. That means that if we're hypermobile somewhere, we seek stability. If we're overly stable, we seek mobility. Now, if we're obsessed with the end result, if we see a shape and we think that the shape is where we need to go, then that's where we get injured. We might over-mobilize ourselves rather than balance ourselves out. Some of us over-stabilize, become way too strong with no range of motion, okay, because we seek a certain visual aesthetic. Everybody's got something where the ego starts to take place. Inhale, halfway lift. Pivot let's go left toes first. Left toes to face out. Bend the knee. Rise, warrior two. Interlace the hands behind the back. To do so, we internally rotate the arms. Okay, now lift the shoulders up and squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other. Keeping that, extend the arms straight back behind you. Okay, so you can see, I'll just show you a little bit. But keep the pelvis facing the side of the mat. So stick your bum back behind you. This is what is going to allow you range of motion. If you stick your butt back, like you sway your hips back behind you, your chest will be able to come forward. I'm going to come on a diagonal to the inside of the left leg. Now for more range of motion, you stick your bum back further, right? Now for stability, on the other hand, once you're down here, I'd like you to focus your attention on activating your buttocks. Press your left heel down into the ground and try to get your glute muscles fired up. Scoop your tailbone more. Make it harder for yourself to get lower so that the hips are balancing out the mobility that you have. Now again, if you're not low at all, if you're hanging out up top, then stick your butt back more, stick your bum up to the sky, even push your feet apart and you'll get more range of motion. All right, rise up. Hands to the hips, straighten the left leg. Whoo! Bend, rotate the right leg out. I'm sorry, I'm not actually mirroring you. I just realized I should have done. I'm not. So your right leg, bend it. And then again, moving the hips back is going to give you the range of motion. Moving the hips forward is going to give you more stability. We want to go back for range of motion, and within that, then we'll learn how to move the pelvis while being back. So we have maximum range of motion, but then we stabilize with the muscles. Interlace the other fingers behind the back. Place them at your low back. I'm just going to show you here. Okay, once they're there, shoulders go up and back. Keep them there. The up is elevation, back is retraction, as you know. Okay, then reach the hands straight back behind you. Now keeping the hips going back, groins back, then lean forward. You're going to come inside of the right knee as you bow. Now, as you're down here, it's all well and good. See if you can activate your hip muscles in order to stabilize within the range of motion that you've gained. So micro tuck the tail and press down through your right heel. Is it possible to find those buttock muscles that you found in the very beginning? Remember that child's pose where I had you lift your hips up and your buttocks fired up? Can you find them here? Or in the lunge pose when I had you tuck your tailbone and press through your heel there? Are you able to find those same buttock muscles in this position? It's very hard, but if you tuck your tail and press down through your outer heel in particular, you might start to feel them. That's what we're going for right now, okay? And then, of course, somewhere towards the middle of this posture, you start getting tired. The mind starts saying, oh, it's enough, you know. But what about tuning into Kriya Shakti, the ability to take action? Fire up your muscles and hold the posture because we can. It's a privilege and an honor to have this physical body to get stronger. So let's do that. Let's get stronger. Rise all the way up. Straighten the leg and turn in. And that's the hard part about taking action, is that the real growth period happens in those times where we want to give up. And if we can just remember, like, wow, I have this physical body, I want to get stronger, you know, like, so let me just simply take the actions that move me in that direction. The result is I will build more strength, body awareness, connection to this physical form. All right, bring the feet in a little bit closer. Bend the knees. Place the hands on the knees at first and move your groins back. Stick your bum up to the sky. Arc your low back.
Now, with your hands on your inner knees, we're going to warm up the inner thighs for a second. So squeeze your knees inward to your hands. So try to squeeze your knees toward each other, activating the adductor muscles. Now, this is going to be a fun one. Is it possible to keep your knees apart and take your hands out to the sides, and now squeeze your outer heels and pinky toes toward each other and see if you can get the back side of your buttocks and glutes fired up, okay? You're gonna tip your pelvis a little bit more anteriorly, but now scoop your tailbone isometrically, so don't actually move it, but try to tuck your tailbone and pull the outer feet toward the midline, towards the center line from behind you, okay? So the knees roll out, the feet pull in towards the buttocks. Hopefully this brings a smile to your face. It is challenging, okay? And rise all the way up. Hallelujah. All right, come to a wall. We're just gonna stretch the chest and awaken the pectoral muscles. Take your hand to a wall. We'll do Vashisthasana, side plank at the wall, which we've done this immersion so far. Take your, I'm gonna move out of the way so you can see, but you'll be perpendicular to the wall. Shoulder goes up and back, okay? Once the shoulder goes up and back, turn your chest away from the wall and lift the heart up, stretch the pectoral muscles here. One more breath. And release. Switch sides. Okay, so shoulder goes up and pull it back. Once the shoulder is up and back, turn your heart away from the wall, keeping the shoulder back, opening the pectorals all the way through the biceps. You might start to feel it. You're also stretching a muscle called the serratus here if you're pulling your shoulder blade in towards the midline. That's what you might feel underneath the armpit. All right. All right, so next, I'm going to show you from the back side. We're going to do half bind. So what's required is that in this position here, actually, let's just do it with the arm. So take your right arm behind your back like this. In order to get the hand to go further around, you can undo it a little bit. So hand to the sacrum and just peel your shoulder blade back, and then you can slide your hand and even grab your other arm like so. Is that clear? That's probably not. So let's just try the other side for a second. So sometimes it's really good to roll the shoulder forward in a posture like this, okay, where you would grab here. But if we want to go all the way around, then we're going to have to move the angle of the shoulder blade. So you start by taking the elbow out a little bit rather than, once you're in here, it's not going to move very much. So elbow out, go shoulder up, and then shoulder blade back, and then slide your hand around and see if you can grab your other forearm. Okay, let's do that again. Hand to the sacrum, elbow wide, shoulder up and back. Let your chest open as you slide your hand around and grab your other arm. I'm going to come a little bit closer. Sorry for my bum. Okay, let's try the other side again. Hand to the sacrum, not all the way across. Shoulder goes up, and then pull your shoulder blade. You see how I let the elbow face back towards you? Okay, then slide it around. Okay, and then you'll be able to grab your arm here. All right. So now we'll do that on our yoga mat. I'm going to come a little bit closer to you. You can just watch this round, okay? So we take the left hand to my second wind block over here. Thank you. And your right hand goes onto your sacrum, not all the way across yet. Now, first, arc your back like a back bend and watch. Then I'm going to pull the shoulder blade back, and that's what's going to allow me to slide my hand into a half bind and grab the leg. Okay, so let's do that together, just the half bind for right now. Okay, so let's go left foot forward, hand on block, bottom hand that is. Sway your groins back like we've been doing, and take your hand to your sacrum, not to your thigh yet. Okay, the action's important. Go shoulder up a little bit. Now let the elbow glide back, then slide your hand. Okay, open up your chest, half bind. Lengthen the heart. And release. We switch sides. We'll go right side. Just gonna stay facing the back so you can see the shoulder. Okay, so the right hand goes to the inside. Sway the groins back. Place the hand on the low back. Let's go shoulder up. Now let the elbow glide back so it points straight towards, you see how my elbow is straight towards you. Then I can slowly bring it to the thigh. Once you're there, you can play around with pressing your elbow downward and see if that feels good, or if keeping the shoulder up a little bit feels good to you. For me, bring the shoulder away from the ear once I'm there feels pretty nice. You do undo the back bend, remember. Okay, and then come on out. Now, that's the top arm. We already know a little bit about the hips, but we haven't applied it yet, okay? So now I'm going to show you the hips. So this time, just the hips. Watch me one round. So you'll be on your fingertips. You move your groins back. And now watch my left bum here. It's going to go underneath like so, which is going to open you up into wide version of partial konasana. So groins go back, buttocks goes underneath, not forward, but underneath. And how do you get the buttocks underneath? You press the outer heel down using your glute muscles here. Then you form a back bend and a twist in the upper back. Okay, so let's try it. You can come into your, let's do the right leg first. For my sake, thank you. So here's what we do. We come into our preparatory position here. You slide the groins back. Then press your outer right heel down and scoop your tailbone. As you scoop your tailbone, this is called posterior tilt, then you can turn your belly and turn your chest. Remember, don't press your pelvis forward, keep it back, but scoop your tail. Now lengthen the chest into a back bend. So you're pressing your outer right heel down, top shoulder rolls back, and then reach it up to the sky. Two more breaths. All right, other side. Okay, so first we start in our prep position here. Slide the groins back. And can you move your pelvis underneath? I'll show you the backside one more time. Okay, because I know it gets real. It took me so many times of seeing this to understand what the heck was going on. Groins back, pelvis under. Okay, groins back, pelvis under. Then turn your belly and your chest toward the sky. Groins back, pelvis under. Press through your outer left heel. Right shoulder back to open the chest, and then arm up to the sky. Press down through the outer edge of the foot, the pinky toe edge of the foot. And release. All right, so now we only have one one layer missing, and that's the bottom arm. Obviously, I think you know we're moving towards Baddha Parsvakonasana, bound side angle pose. The bottom arm of side angle usually gets kind of caught like this, where someone does a pose where their elbow's on their thigh, and then they do this, and they punch the shoulder forward, and it's very hard to get any distance from there. There's nothing wrong with the shoulder being punched forward, but when there's a fulcrum point of the leg on the elbow, it pushes it too far forward. So the prerequisite, I always say, for the full bind, because you can always do the half bind here, okay, on the block or whatever, but for the full bind, I suggest getting your shoulder and armpit below the leg, okay? So that requires anterior tilt, sticking your buttocks back in order to get low. Then once you're there, this arm is fairly free. You see how easy it is? There's no roughness about it. You just kind of reach it back and place it on your butt. I'm going to show you from the back side, okay? So it's all about the hip flexibility first. So anterior tilt and moving the groins back is what's going to get you down there. So stick your bum back, groins back. Once you're down there, this arm should be really free. Then you can just simply place the back of your hand on your hip. This arm does what it already knows how to do. Place it on the sacrum or the hip, move the shoulder back, and as you move it back, see if you can just slide it right into the hand. Okay, the next part is done with the hips. Watch my buttocks. I'm going to press down through the outer heel, and these glute muscles here on this side fire up to turn the pelvis, turn the chest, and then Baddha Parsvakonasana. All right, so let's work through this together. Let's go right side first. Come into the prep, move your groins back. You could always use that trusty strap that Second Wind sent you. Okay, move your groins back. That is if you can't clasp your hands. Get down there, get the shoulder down nice and low, and see if you can get this arm free. Place it right on your hip, wherever it lands. This arm, just kind of let the elbow rotate back, shoulder blade pulls back, then slide the hand in. It's okay if the shoulder rolls forward after that. That's okay. Now, here's the key part, is to get into the full pose. Press the outer heel down, scoop the buttocks underneath. The rest, you start to do a little bit of a back bend, rotate the spine, pull the shoulder back. Okay, and release. Let's do the left side. I'll do this side from the back side so you have another angle of what's going on. Here we go. We come into our prep position. Move your groins back, anterior tilt, and come low. So this is all jnana, the knowledge, right? I'm giving you the knowledge, the techniques. And as soon as you integrate them into your body, that's kriya, that's action. For the sake of finding out how to express yourself fully and freely in this physical form. Take your right arm, bring it around. Don't do that. Right arm down. Left arm, bring it as low as you can and see if you can freely move it internally, externally, like we did it in the warriors. Okay, so you're going to do internal to place it on your hip. The arm, that's the right arm now that I said earlier, you just kind of let the shoulder blade move back. Okay, once it's back, you can slide the hand right into the other hand, or wrist into the hand. Now you can let it roll the shoulder forward if you like, freely. Scoop your tailbone by pressing down through the outer left edge of the foot. That will then allow you to roll your heart open, roll your chest open. And release Baddha Parsvakonasana. Ah, brilliant. Okay. Let's take a moment, come to down dog and even out the hips. Three breaths.
All right, bring the knees to the ground. And take your block, place it underneath. Today I recommend we take Virasana for seated meditation. You could also sit on a chair. Okay, if you want to sit cross-legged, you can. Make sure you have blankets underneath you. And take a moment here, close the eyes, and observe the energy that flows through your body. Let your breath still have a little sound of ujjayi to it. And let's add a little kumbhakam, which is just breath retention, like a little lingering between to make this a pranayama. So still sound of ujjayi, that whispery sound through the nose. So we inhale. And then just when you're done inhaling, let it linger for a moment without exhaling. Exhale. When you're done exhaling, let it linger for a moment with softness. Inhale. Let it linger. Exhale. It's okay if you're a little off of my timing. Just let the magic be that lingering moment between the breaths. Inhale. Rest the mind in that stillness where there is no movement. Continue this pranayama, lingering. And let the breath return to its natural state. Feel the experience of energy flowing through your body, consciousness in the form of sensation.
This body and this life is a gift. Icha is the deep desire within us, beyond the ego, the natural fuel to express ourselves, the wanting from a place of pure energy from consciousness itself. This makes its way down into knowledge. We have this magnificent ability to learn, to integrate techniques from this magnificent mind. We learn the structures to operate within any given environment. And yet, we need action to bring it all to life so that consciousness can take form. Kriya, purity of action, action stemming from the deep desire to express. Not from the cravings of the ego to fulfill an emptiness that is never fulfillable, but from the fullness of all that we are, we express ourselves. So today in this meditation, let's fill it with observation of our physical form, with gratitude for the sensations that are constantly flowing within us, for the deep will, icha, that is constantly pulsing inside of our human form. We acknowledge that we have knowledge, that we have a mind. So when you see a thought come up, appreciate this mechanism of the mind that we have. And it is so magnificent that it doesn't have to focus on that thought, so you just acknowledge, this is the mind integrating knowledge, processing experience. And just say, thought. And you come back to this moment right here, right now, with this magnificent body. And the energy that pulses through it. Simply, with gratitude, we acknowledge the thought that comes up as part of the mechanism of the mind that allows us for jnanam, knowledge, So we label it thought, not as a negative thing, but rather a beautiful gift. And we remind ourselves that that's simply not the intention right now. And the mind will be there thinking as soon as we need it. And we can revisit the thought later. But for now, focus on the flow of sensation in your body, the energy in this physical form. You label it thought and come back. And take a moment to observe yourself observing. There is a part of the mind that can witness and observe the pulse of energy inside this physical form. And there's a part of our soul that can witness the mind observing. We call it Shiva Shakti, the power of awareness. Observe yourself observing. Come back to your breath. Place the hands together and just gently give some heat. Place the hands over the eyes and breathe fully into your hands. Hands over the heart. And hands over the belly. Place the hands together in honor of this pulse inside of us that contains Icha, Yana, Kriya, the power of will, the power of knowledge, and the power of action. We're with gratitude for these magnificent powers that we possess, because consciousness is pulsing within us. We bow. Grateful for the ability to express ourselves. Namaste. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Nice to share with you today. Thank you Second Wind for sponsoring with yoga mats and straps for everybody. If you didn't get your free strap, make sure that you visit that first email that talks about that. And definitely check out their yoga mats, are incredible. I prefer the sticky mat as my favorite one, but they have cork mats as well. I'm going to break out, I have a few cork mats that I'm going to show you as well. They're really quite beautiful. But the sticky one's my favorite. The 300-hour training is coming up. If you're watching this live, September 20th, it begins. The 200-hour training, if you want to get certified to teach yoga, starts October 1st. And then that's it for that. The October immersion obviously starts, I think it's October 3rd is the first Saturday, I want to say. It's the first Saturday that we're going to begin the October immersion. So we'll have a few days in between September and October. And then we'll get started there. Again, the auto pay is available. So if you are tired of breaking out your credit card every time, at least you'll know that you're going to get the discounted rate every month. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the Tantra experience of learning philosophy from a different angle. And yeah, have a beautiful day. Take care.